It's just a quick update for you. As you can see, I've done the braking flaps, put that final coat of yellow on. Then I dry brushed some steel silver all the way over, mainly at the tips and a bit on the actual flaps themselves, and a bit underneath, not too much because you're not going to see it, and on those as well. Basically matching the front of the box, which is the actual film still, and you can see on the flaps there's some dry brush, there's some silver wear and tear on the front there. So that's what I've done to replicate that. I've also put Anakin's logo decals on as well. Sit is a lot better than the actual decals for the pod. Microset and microsole's working, so I'll give those 24 hours to dry, and then I'll seal them with the Revel matte coat. The Humbrol matte coat, I should say. Also, last night, as it was lovely and sunny outside, after I got home from work, I painted the fuel lines. Spray painted them with the Halfords black, left and right, as you can see. I also cut the little notches off the side. There was about 5 or 6 on each side, so I cut those off. Filed them down and then touched them up by hand with some black paint, and as you can see, they've done really well. Just those two there. Again, I'll cut those off the sprue, fold them down and then paint them again after. So those are done. And then last but not least, the stand's been done as well. I basically went gunmetal on the whole of the stand, and then I painted blue on, undiluted. I didn't mix it with the white, I just painted that on and then tidied up with the gunmetal. I've also done this as well, this came with it. Very, very intricate indeed with my smallest brush, and then that will just sit on the side there, like that. But I'll put that on once the engines are on. But that's where I'm sitting at the guys at the moment. Final construction is on its way. Stay with me. Hi guys, right. A few bits I had to do with final construction. I can happily say that the Podracer is complete. I'm really happy how she's turned out, but there's just a few niggling issues that I've got to address. So here's the final reveal. As you can see, there it is on its stand. Basically, when I left here, I just painted and decaled the fins, the braking fins. Right, so what I did, underneath each of the braking fin, there's 2 holes that mounts onto that bracket. I had to widen the holes slightly, and then I glued them on with the model paint and then wrapped some tape round both sides. But on one, I think it was this one, I think, possibly, as I was taking the tape off, it came off. So I just used normal super glue to reattach it. So once I'd done that, I put it on its stand. Then I glued the energy binders into each hole. They've gone down. It's gone in really, really well. I haven't put any glue in the stand holes because it's pretty sturdy, even though it is a bit wobbly, but it is quite sturdy. Right, now the issues I had with the fuel lines, you have to glue them together in the centre. There's like a mounting tab and a hole. You'll have to shave around the edges to get it to fit perfect. You can probably just make it out there, actually, the line there in the middle. I used a scissor clamp to hold that down, and then once a few hours later it dried, I then painted it all over in the black, the gloss black, and then I put the Humbrol matte coat on after that, and it took the shine off it really, really nice. Right, now the issue I've got is where the fuel lines mount onto the actual fuel line supports, because if you look on the picture here, whoever has made this model has actually curled it round and then got it to sit right in. Not so much on that side, but definitely on this side. To be honest, I would have preferred if these fuel lines would have been like a hard rubber maybe, because it would have been easier to shape that into there. Right, now, as you can see, I've had to super glue it onto its holder, the actual mounting rod, on the side of each side of the pod. I've bent it round as much as I can, but you can see that it doesn't touch the support mounting there, and it just rests in the actual mount there. I thought it might have actually pushed right in, but it's not, because the channels aren't wide enough. You can see it on that side as well, it's just resting on it. That looks white, but it's actually black where the actual sun's hitting it. So I'll just have to rest it on the other side. If I just turn this round slightly, you can see that it's only just resting on there, because I just couldn't get it to bend down whatsoever. I just couldn't get it to do. So what I've done is I've just run a bit of super glue on the outer edges just to hold them down. You can see that this it does move a bit, but it is quite sturdy. Also, the issue with this mounting bracket here as well, there's actually a little small hole, like a C-shaped bracket, and on the edge of the fuel lines there, it's the smallest of tips. You could say it's about as wide as a fine tip Sharpie, and it just slots into there. Again, I've had to super glue it, because like I said, model, it just keeps popping out. So over time, I think these are going to come off, and them are going to come off, even though I have super glued them. I still wish AMT would have made that a hard rubber instead of the plastic. It is a shame. I mean, maybe I could have sourced some hard rubber for the fuel lines, but at the end of the day I just couldn't be arsed. I'm going to use the kit, so those will become an issue over time for those of you who are going to build this kit. Try and source some like hard rubber tubing, so at least you'll be able to flex it. You can also see that I've glued the actual plaque into place now. I just ran a bit of glue underneath there and underneath on the other side as well, and then just a little dab there, there and there, just to glue that in. I had to put it in from the top here, because what I probably should have done was put it on first. Also, you can see more in detail the actual exhaust cones, although I've made them look burnt and rusty as well. I was, like I said in my previous update, I was really happy on how those turned out. Also, with the screen as well, you can see where that super glue had dried. I basically dried just a bit of silver around there, like I mentioned in a previous update. But apart from the fuel line issue I've got, you can see that it's mounted really well on that. These are actually quite sturdy, to be honest. These are quite sturdy. I thought they'd be really flimsy, but they're not. So that's just one last view at the look at her. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some stills on the end of this video, so you can get a better look at her. Hopefully I haven't bored you too much. I always say that, because the friends at work, that they think, oh, Wayne and his sad boring toys. So again, hopefully I haven't bored you too much. And I'll see you fairly soon in my next project. Thanks for watching.